Evening, first day of the week again, and now I believe you have started fantastically with great energy. You had a fantastic weekend, and the day one of the week. So I think I strongly believe you plan for your week also now, and you progress well on the day one. Okay, so some of you already actually completed their work and probably traveling back to home. You might be commuting now, so I just wanted to just plug in the headset and start listening to me. This is for next 10-15 minutes. I want you to listen to me because today again I'm going to share something very important to you for our day-to-day project management day life, project manager's life, that how basically you handle or maintain your reputation, your authority in a crisis or critical situation. Okay, so before I go into the topic today, I quickly introduce myself for all those people who are listening me first time. Hello everyone, this is Tushar Chaudhary. I'm your leadership coach, and I help mid senior project managers to convert your performance, your experience into a strategic influence ecosystem. Okay, where you can have high impact on people, high influence on the people, and at the same time I will attract high income leadership career. So what happens, we most of the mid senior project managers, they're more than 15, 20, 20 plus years of experience, and you become trapped into that performance, that experience, and having that belief system that my experience will take me to the next level, my performance will help me to bring the new challenging roles for me, or leadership roles for me. you know that's not the truth. I mean, that could be one of the parameter, but that's not always happens, and many of us are really stuck in our career because these belief which we're carrying is now not if you see at the corporate level, the senior management at the top level, they're actually looking for you to come out of that execution mode or delivery mode, and start solving bigger problems of the company, go beyond the projects. And but this is where the perception gap we have. Now we feel that we're doing great work at the in the organization, but the people at the top, they think that, oh, what you getting, that's what you're getting paid for, you're delivering the work. So there's a perception gap between what we think and what others think about us. And now it's our responsibility to fill that gap. If we don't, then that gap will widen up, and again it become really challenging for us, mid senior project managers like you, to change that perception and go to the strategic leadership role. That's where I come into picture. I help you to fill that gap, and also to build your ecosystem of influence where you operate on daily basis 24 by 7, with your core leadership values, core leadership strengths. And that through that, you create impact, you create influence on the people, and that is where the perception about you get changed, and then you get attracted to, and you attracting opportunities towards you. Okay, so that's about me, and now let's get into the topic today. So before I go into the topic, I want to start with the situation every project manager wants to avoid. You walk into the meeting, you already know that the project is delayed, and now you have to present it to the stakeholders. And what happens inside you? You feel pressure. You start explaining, you start preparing the explanations, and you think, no, how do I justify this? And without realizing, you enter the meeting in a very defensive mindset. Now let me tell you something very honestly. Now delays, they don't damage your image, the defensiveness damage your image. Now this become very clear to me when I read this book, Leadership is a Language, by David Marquardt. Now David explains in this book that the words you don't the words you use don't just communicate information, they reveal your thinking, your identity. And when you sound defensive, people stop trusting your leadership. I'll share with you one a real situation from my project experiences. Okay, we were working on a critical delivery. Unexpected dependency issue came up, and we knew that we were going to miss the deadline. Now I had to present this into a senior stakeholder review meeting. The earlier version of me would have presented like preparing long justifications, blaming external dependencies, using complex explanation. But that day, I changed my approach. I opened the meeting and I said straight away, you know, we are currently delayed by 10 days, and let me walk you through what happened, what we have done, and how we're going to recover from this. No excuse, no blame, just clarity. Something interesting happened in that, meeting. The conversation becomes solution focused. Nobody attacked on me, nobody escalated the issue. That's when I realized, you know, the stakeholders don't get frustrated because of delay. They get frustrated because of lack of ownership. I'll share you with you. There's a leadership insight which I actually realized there is. That time I read a book, The Power of Positive No, and I also recommend you to read this book, The Power of Positive No. Now, this book explains how to communicate difficult situations with clarity and respect. Now, instead of defending, you you acknowledge the reality, you stay grounded, and you communicate the direction. Okay, so strong communication is not about you avoiding the bad news. It is about you delivering the bad news with transparency, with clarity, with confidence. Is that a bulb on moment? Yeah. So I'll share with you a deeper reality here. Now, I read one book called Getting to Yes, and I'll show you that one. This is the book, Getting to Yes by Roger Fisher and William Uri. Okay, so this book, Getting to Yes, taught me that in the crisis situation, in the critical conversation, focus on the interest, not the positions. Yeah. So defending is a position. Being defensive is a position. Okay. So in delay situation, in a project delay situation, the stakeholders, they care about the impact, they care about the recovery, they care about what is the next step. They are not just they're not interested in your justifications. So focus on the interest of your stakeholders. Don't stuck to the positions. Okay, that's the book I read and I understand from. That's the reality insight I want to share with you. Now the question is, how will you move from that stuck position that to the ownership position? Okay, I would like to share with you three practical shifts which will help you to move from that to from the defensive to the action focused mindset. So shift number one is straightforward. Move from the defensive mindset to ownership mindset. Stop explaining. There is no point in justifying all this thing. Start owning. So instead of saying there were many challenges, there were so many dependencies over there, don't say like that. Just say, yes, we are delayed by 10 days. Clear, direct, no drama. This immediately shows your confidence, your accountability, you knowing the situation, you accepting the situation, and your leadership also. Okay, and I learned this from a book called The Ooze Principle by Roger Connors, Tom Smith, and Craig Hickman. See, in that book, what they mention is that accountability builds the trust faster than explanation. Do you agree with me? Type yes in the comment section. Now, I would like to share with you shift number two is when you are we talked about defensive mindset, right? Now there is another mindset, we call it as we're trying to throw the blame on someone. So rather than having that blame mindset, move from that blame mindset to context mindset. Okay, don't blame people or situations, but don't hide the facts also. Provide the context. Just say this delay happened due to dependency on X, which impacted our timeline. See, you are here trying to be transparent. you're trying to be professional, and also at the same time you're providing a data which is which is their figures, facts and figures. So you're trying to be neutral here. Okay. So again, I learned this when I read this book called Factfulness by Hans Rosling. This is the book. Actually, I'll show you. This this is the book, Factfulness by Hans Rosling. The 10 reasons we are wrong about the world, and why things are better than you think. So when I read this book, I understand one thing is that you need to present the facts clearly without any emotional distortion. And I would like you to read this book. Okay. So that's the shift number two. Now the shift number three is, I want you to move from that problem mindset to, you know, recovery mindset. Bring the mitigation plan, building the recovery. And this is where leaders stand out. This is again your identity. Okay. Never stop at the problem level. Always move to solution, move to the plan. So you can say, yeah, we delayed by 10 days. There was a dependency issue, and this has impacted our timeline. And here are three actions we are taking to recover this delay. So what are you doing here? You're shifting the entire energy of the people who are listening, because the moment you tell them that we are delayed, their emotions are high. Some of them might have promise to their clients, so try to go into their shoes and understand what they would be feeling. Okay. So so here you shifting the energy from panic mode to relax, or to getting trusting, so you're moving from problem to progress. And I think I would recommend you one more book to read is Measure What Matters by John Dewey. Now the focus on outcome and forward movement. Okay, we talked about another book earlier, was the Getting to Yes, right? The book mentioned that focus on the interest of the people rather than stuck to the position. Same thing in the book Measure What Matters by John Doerr mentioned focus on the outcomes and forward movement. Okay. So just to, if I really want to summarize whatever I just shared with you, there is a very practical structure you should follow when you are sharing the project delays. So delay happened. Yes, absolutely. You have to acknowledge there is a delay, mention the cause of the delay, and then the recovery plan. Like that means what are the actions you're taking, and finally building the confidence, getting the confidence, building the trust. Yeah, delay, cause, action, confidence. So, for example, if I really want to speak to during the meeting, yeah, we are delayed by 10 days. This was due to the dependency on X, and we have taken three corrective actions, and we are confident of recovering in just next 6 days. Yeah, yeah, something like that. So now we reach to the closing of the today's discussion. I would like to share with you that next time you present the project delay, don't defend, don't justify, just lead, because managers explain delays. Leaders, they own the delays and they drive the recovery. Okay. Now, whatever I just shared with you for the last 10-15 minutes, you have already gone through these situations and you think that this could help you. You know, if my talk, live talk, has made you to reflect, I want you to comment delay. Okay. And in case you're really struggling in your current situation, how to transform yourself or transition from that stuck mindset to the ownership mindset, I would like you to book one-to-one with me. Okay. And the good thing is, I'm conducting a webinar on the coming weekend, and the weekend, this is on project leadership mastery. I'm conducting a 5-day cohort on project leadership mastery, and one of the day I'm covering about project leadership delay, how to handle the delays effectively. Okay, I would like you to book the slot with me, one-to-one slot with me, or be attend my webinar, or join my 5-day cohort. Okay, the link in the comment section, or you can DM me directly, and I can share with you the links for you to join my WhatsApp group. Okay. Good. So that's what actually I want to share with you today. And now I'm signing off from Bangalore. This is your leadership coach, Tushar Chaudhary. But tomorrow, when I come back again, I'll come up with another topic which will help you to, uh, create impact and build your ecosystem of influence in the organization. That way, you build your authority also. Okay. Until that moment, take care of yourself, implement everything what we learned today, and God bless you.